Welcome back. SuicideFantasyFootball.com. Week 4 wide receiver calls, Jim. Let's start with your pickups at wide receiver.
My pickups at wide receiver, I got 2.
Okay.
I am believing that Brandon Stokely is going to be a contributor in fantasy football.
Really?
Peyton Manning still likes the guy. I know that they were coming back from a big deficit this week, and they were throwing the ball around. Decker had a lot of catches, but Brandon Stokely went 6 for 75, and on your 4th or 5th wide receiver on your team, that's a good week. He's going to be somebody you can fill in a couple of weeks. Again, he's not going to be your number 1 wide receiver. He's not going to win your league just solely picking him up, but he's going to be a consistent guy that you can put in during your bye weeks and for some injury time. And my second guy is Titus Young. I know it was a little bit of a lucky catch, and I know that they were going to Burleson a little bit more, but Titus Young is about to break out. He's not somebody that you're going to put in this week, but just like Mikel LeSure, if you don't pick him up early, you're not going to be able to get him. You got to have a little bit of foresight. He's coming on.
You know why I've given up on Titus Young?
Because you're dumb?
Because why does he have to have Young Senior on his jersey? That's so goddamn annoying. Like, that means Young Junior is like 1 or 2 years old. Nobody's confusing you, dude. Take the Senior off of your name. And it should be Nate Burleson who's picked up instead of Titus Young.
Nah, Nate Burleson's a has-been. He'll be
Not that he's
already
on my list. Not that he's on my list to pick up, so I think I got better pickups at wide receiver than you.
Okay.
I'm going with Donnie Avery first. I've said week after week the wrong guy.
Right.
Someone on...
So pick up T.Y. Hilton.
Maybe T.Y. Hilton's your guy.
Yeah.
Every week I say... But really, Donnie Avery has proven to be...
You're back on. You're off, you're on, you're off, you're on. Now you're back on.
Donnie Avery. I'm still on the number 2 guy in
flip-flop.
Indianapolis, as I have been. I'm saying it's Donnie Avery. He's proven it before. T.Y. Hilton, yeah, he scored a touchdown. Maybe in a keeper league, in a dynasty league, I love T.Y. Hilton. But this year, if you're picking one, go Donnie Avery.
So theoretically, you're right, but in name, you're wrong every week.
Okay.
Good call.
All right, my second guy is Jerome Simpson. He's back from smoking weed. He's on a Minnesota offense that's only got Kyle Rudolph and Percy Harvin with headaches every other week. So I love Jerome Simpson. I don't think you're going to see him doing flips into the end zone, but I think he's going to be a capable receiver who could be your 3rd guy, flex guy in deeper leagues. I also got to tell you, just make sure Lance Moore's owned in your league. He probably is. He's owned in most leagues. But it seemed like he could have went, a lot of people could have went Devery Henderson and Marcus Colston and forgot about Lance Moore going into the draft. So just if he's there, grab him. He's the number 1 guy. But chances are he's not there, and you're going to have to settle for a Jerome Simpson or Donnie Avery. All right, Jim, who you dropping at wide receiver?
At wide receiver? I'm dropping Randy Moss. I know a lot of people draft him. A lot of people picked him up because they remembered him from the Randy Moss of old. And that doesn't mean he's a bad football player. He's not going to make some plays from now until the end of the season. But in fantasy football, it's about stats, it's about looks, it's about opportunity. And he's not going to get the opportunity to play as much. He's going to hurt you because you play him and he gets nothing more than he's going to help you by scoring a lot of points in fantasy
I agree,
football.
Jim.
So I'm dropping Moss.
If there was a week he was going to do it, it would have been this week against the Vikings, when you know he wanted to. So, Randy Moss, we thought maybe he could come back and be that Patriots receiver who got wind when he left Oakland, and you're like, all right, maybe this can happen again. I'm with you. The Randy Moss project is over. I'm going with another old guy to drop, Jim, and it's your boy, Braylon Edwards.
Yeah, he's not doing
it. Forget it. We hoped...
Russell Wilson sucks, so it doesn't really
matter. It doesn't matter, Jim. Even if Russell Wilson got hurt against the Packers, which seems like he's kicking the Packers' ass... But even if that happened and your boy went in next week, I'd still drop Braylon Edwards. I mean, Sidney Rice, he's a keeper. Maybe I'm taking my shot on Sidney Rice, not Braylon Edwards.
Yeah.
All right. Who is your sit this week, Jim?
I have 2 of them. I'm sitting Marcus Colston. He's a big name, but he's kind of banged up, and Breeze just doesn't seem to be going to him. It used to be the carousel, 1 week Colston, 1 week Henderson, 1 week Moore. Moore's really taken over as the number 1 receiver, and Henderson is still a deep ball threat. So if you get like bonus points for 40-yard and 50-yard touchdowns, Henderson's your guy. But I think Colston's kind of getting phased out there, and I don't know if it's injuries or whatever.
I can't sit him yet, but I hear you.
But I'm sitting him, and my second guy is Greg Little. If you're holding on to him for some reason because he's got potential,
I'm not. I'm a Carolina fan. I'm dropping him.
So I wouldn't be playing him if you got him.
All right, and my sit this week is Dez Bryant. He's a guy who everybody had high hopes for in the draft, but he hasn't really done it. Yeah, and I know he's getting some targets, but I am sitting. Definitely not dropping, but sitting Dez Bryant. Go ahead, pimp slap me like I was your mom, bitch. All right, so that's what we think at the wide receiver position. By the way, one more deep flyer. My boy, Jim, he's coming back this week. And if you need a guy who's handsome and can catch some deep balls, Super Cooper, Jim.
Come on, dude.
Come on, dude.
This is real
All
fantasy
right,
football.
all right.
Riley
Don't
Cooper,
pick up Super Cooper.
Riley
Don't pick
Cooper
up
will not do anything.
All right, I just had to throw that in there.
Okay.
So that's what we think at the wide receiver position. Jim at SuicideFantasySports.com, Eric at SuicideFantasySports.com. Subscribe to our videos and comment below, and check out Blog Talk Radio, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock on Monday nights. We're Fantasy Football Overload. Support SuicideFantasyFootball.com. It really is the best way to play fantasy football.